NCBA is the nation's largest cattle industry organization, representing cattlemen and women in every state. And this year, the man serving as the president of this organization hails from Wyoming. Philip Ellis joins us now. Thanks for coming to the show here, Philip.
You bet, Kevin. Glad to be here.
Each year, you all set priorities, policy priorities for the organization in the year ahead. Tell folks just a little bit about how that process actually works.
Well, I'm glad to, Kevin. And our policy process is deep and wide. It's deep in that it starts in the grassroots with cow-calf producers like myself, a cow-calf producer from Wyoming, and then through the stocker or feedlot operators who might buy my calves. We meet in our conventions and we set the policy direction for the organization. But then every year, early in the year, the volunteer leadership and our staff in Washington, D.C. that are on the ground there 24/7 and know what is happening in the regulatory and the legislative arena, set our policy priorities for the year, those things that we need to watch out for, those things that we can get done during the year.
I'm glad you bring that up because you've recently gone through that process, and I was curious, what are going to be some of the key priorities for 2015?
Well, the priorities this year are in the regulatory area for the most part, but two things that are continuing from last year and that are very much on our minds are the EPA Waters of the U.S. rulemaking, and we're still deeply engaged in that. That is still being considered by EPA, and a rule that would just not make common sense on the ground on my ranch and on our members' ranches. And then the dietary guidelines. These are rewritten every 5 years. 2015 is the year that these will be written by the Secretaries of Health and Human Services and Agriculture. The Science Panel has recently released their report, and we're concerned about their recommendations for lean meat and meat as a protein, and concerned that they have wandered into environmental issues that is not their charge as a nutrition panel.
Let's talk trade for just a minute, Philip. I know that's a critically important issue for the beef industry. What are you hoping to accomplish on that front in the coming year?
Well, trade is also in our policy priorities for 2015, and that is a positive one. That's in the legislative arena and with this administration. We feel there are real opportunities to move forward in trade in issues that we can all talk about and agree. One is TPA, Trade Promotion Authority, fast track it's sometimes called, but a streamlined process to authorize trade deals that can move our good beef protein globally. And so we're watching that and hoping that can move forward. And then Trans-Pacific Partnership that would give us more opportunities in the Asian, where we have customers that would like to be eating our beef.
And when we were together in San Antonio, you mentioned some of your passion around tax reform. Tell folks what some of the priorities are for the organization in the coming year related to taxes.
Right. Taxes are always on the plate. And just two things we're watching out for this year on taxes. We would like those extenders. We've gotten used to the term extenders. Section 179 expensing is one, depreciation, but they're in the arena of just day-to-day ranch decisions and operations. We'd like to see those made more permanent for our planning process out on the ranch. And then we're always watching the death tax. There's been a little conversation around it recently. We've had some relief. We need to have it repealed, but we want to watch that carefully because that is a real threat to our continuing to transfer our ranches and farms to the next generation.
So one last thing, I'll give you a quick minute to make a little infomercial. Why should people become members of NCBA, Philip?
Well, my family out on the ranch in Wyoming have been members of the national organizations. I have records back 65 years because we can't be in Washington, D.C., but we can support and participate those that are watching out for obstacles to our profitability and success, that are looking at the issues. I'm glad that I have finally in my family been able to get active and participate in leadership. But for years we have been members. We know that we have a team in DC that are watching out for us every day. That's been important down through the generations on my ranch. And so I invite my neighbors right out there in Wyoming to get active at least by becoming members of NCBA, and my beef cattle family that I travel and visit all throughout the United States. If you're not a member, please join me in becoming a member of NCBA.
Very good. You've got a full agenda this year. We'll talk to you again, I'm sure.
You bet, and I'll be glad to, Kevin.
Thanks. Why not join Philip Ellis as a member of NCBA? For those in the cattle industry, it's the best way to cowboy up and cooperate to help protect our freedom to operate. To become a member, just give us a call at 1-866-USA-BEEF or visit our website, that's beefusa.org.